Alright people, so now we're ready to start creating our auto parts store. But first, I'd like to demonstrate how we will handle forms using PHP. So first we'll create a simple order form, and then we'll create the PHP file that will handle the submission of this form. So here back in our editor, let us create a new file. But first, let's create a folder for our auto parts store. So let's go to our XAMPP. Remember, we're in our C drive, XAMPP, and in our htdocs folder, let's create a new folder. And we can call this auto store. Okay, so let's now open up this folder in our Visual Studio Code. Select Auto Store, select that folder. And now okay, so now we can create our file. So let us add a new file. Let's just create it here. All right, so let us save this as our order form. And we are going to give it a .html extension. Let's crank this up a little bit here. All right, so .html. And we need to save this as all files. So let us save that. All right, so now let's begin creating our form. Okay, so we'll need a head. And let's give it a title. We can call this these. Form. Give it a body. Okay, so now that we're in the body of our HTML form, we can create our order form. All right, so when we're dealing with forms, we are going to need an attribute called action, and this tells PHP, or it tells HTML to direct the submit action of this form somewhere. So we're going to direct it to our process order form. So we're going to name it process order.php, and we haven't created it yet, but we will here in a minute. Also, we're going to need a method. So you can see here we can use get or post, and then in this scenario we're going to use the post. All right, so now we can add some fields to our form. I'm going to use input here, so we can say input type is equal to text, and we're going to give it a name. And let's name this, we're going to have 3 different sections here. So we're going to have tire quantity and oil quantity, and also let's add some spark plugs. So we can set a size of 3. We can even set a max length, and let's set that to 3 also. is going to be oil. And the size and the max length would be the same for each one of our form fields. Alright, so we have our 3 fields. And now we're going to need a submit button, of course. So our last input type will be submit. And the value, we're just going to name it submit also. Okay, so let us now save this and take a look at it in our browser. So let's go to our local host and ensure that your local host is running your Apache. Okay, so you want to start up your Apache module, and we're going to change this to our folder or our directory that we just created, our auto store. And we're going to open up our order form. Okay, so we have our 3 text fields. They do not currently have any label or any type of styling. We can go ahead and fix that. So let us go back to our form. And what I'm going to do is add a table to this form so that we can format our form a little bit nicer. So let's add a table element here, and let's give it a border. So we can say border and 0 pixel border. Okay, so first we're going to need some rows so that we can put our input fields inside that table. So let us create a couple of rows. So first tr, and we want to have let's add a style attribute, and what we want to do is just set a little gray background color on this table row property. So we can say background, and you can see here that's going to give us a nice little gray background color. So in these table rows, let us name our items. So we have item and then quantity. I'm going to go ahead and copy this. So just to make it quicker, we can just copy this. And we'll need as many rows as we have inputs here. So we'll just get rid of this, and then we'll put our input type. Let's put our tire. Okay, there we go. Okay, so you can see here we're just replacing these sections here with our actual input fields. Paste. Alright, so let us save that and just see what we have so far. Let's refresh this. Okay, so we have our item and quantity. So we're actually going to need to put our label on this side. So what I should have done was leave the other table data element, but we can simply put it back. So here we're gonna have on our first element tires, and our second element oil, and our third element spark plugs. So let us save this, take a look at it again. Okay. Alright, so the reason that these are also grayed out is because it's inheriting this styling. So let's get rid of this, all of these. I just want it to be plain. So let's save that. Alright, a little better. Alright, so now we have a simple order form. We can enter quantity to, alright, now when we submit it, nothing happens, right? It says object not found. It's looking for process order.php and it cannot find it. So now let's go ahead and create our process order form. So let's create a new file and let's call it process. Let's save it first. So this is going to be called process order.php. Okay, so now we can remember we can put HTML in our PHP file. So our doc type is going to be HTML. You'll realize that you won't get the IntelliSense now because the file extension is a PHP extension as opposed to an HTML extension. So now we'll have to just type out our elements manually. But that's fine. Let's just do it here quickly. Head. So our title this time is gonna be order results, and let's be sure to close off our title tag. Okay, so now we can create our body. Okay, so inside our body, let's create a header here. We can say these auto parts. Have another one. Let's create an H2 this time, and this is just gonna say order results. Alright. Alright, so all we're going to do right now, we're just going to print a message to our user to let them know that their order was processed. So let's open up our PHP tags. Okay, and we can close it off here. And let's just echo that, and we can put this in a, let's just use a simple paragraph tag, and we can say order was processed. Alright, so now let's save this and go back to our form. Let's go back and let's just refresh it, and let's just enter something here. Alright, we don't need 12 tires, let's just put 4 tires, 2 bottles of oil, and let's say we need 6 spark plugs. And now when you submit this form, you'll get our order was processed. Alright, so that is how you do simple HTML form processing using PHP and HTML. In our next video, we'll take a look at how to do a more complex form. Alright, so see you in the next video.